It's springtime in 2023, and it's time for a greater Jacksonville area real estate market update.
Okay, so there are three things that we're going to talk about, and basically we'll be looking at how they relate to what prices are doing in our marketplace. And I guess I should also give the disclaimer that some of this is speculative, or some of what I will say is speculative. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we can look at these numbers and based on past performance, try to somewhat accurately predict future performance. So the first thing that we're looking at is inventory levels. And by that, I mean the relationship of how many homes are available for sale in our marketplace versus how many are selling. And I'm going to look at on a weekly basis, how many are selling. So for two different numbers here, at the end of December, 12/31/2022, there were 5,673 available homes for sale in our marketplace. And at that same time, December 31st, there were 319 homes that went under contract. And so when you look at that relationship between new pending sale versus number of listings available, that yields about 5.6% of the inventory had gone under contract that week. Now, fast forward to April of 2023 and April 22nd to be precise. That week, we put 653 listings under contract, and there were at the same time 6,017 available listings, which is about 10.8% of the available inventory. And so what does that mean? That means we're moving in a direction where there are more buyers coming into the marketplace than there are new listings available or total listings available. And you can see down here at the bottom of this chart that the inventory trajectory from January has been going down for the past few months. And the median sales price has consequently been going up for the past couple of months. And so you may see on national news where they're saying, the real estate market is flat or declining. And there are certainly portions of the country where that's true, but that's not exactly the case in Florida. We did see median sales price come down at the end of last year, right up to the beginning of 2023, but then it made a course correction and started going back up. And so that's the first thing that I wanted us to take a look at is what is the direction that we're heading in the marketplace for the next 4 to 6 months. Now, you may say, Jeff, that's great that the market seems to be improving in Florida and in the greater Jacksonville area, but what about mortgage interest rates? What if they stay where they are at 6.5, 6.75, I don't know, 6.25? They're constantly changing, but for the past 7 months, they've been at or above 6%. And so all of what has happened that we just described, median sales price coming down a little bit, stabilizing and coming back up, happened in the same mortgage interest rate environment. And beyond that, I'm not like an expert at predicting where mortgage interest rates are going to go. I don't pretend to be an expert. So take this with a grain of salt. But the individuals that I read and watch online and listen to and follow have this theory, I guess we'll call it, that mortgage interest rates pace with inflation. And so when we look at inflation numbers in the United States, and they use a 12-month rolling average, you can see where the most recent numbers are much lower than the 8 to 12 month ago numbers were on a monthly basis. So each new month that we include in this inflation average drops off a much higher number and therefore yields a lower overall average as we move forward. And as investors in mortgage-backed securities get more comfortable with their long-term investment in mortgages, the theory is that rates in the summertime in 2023 could actually pull back and come down a little bit. And so two things to think about. One is you may be on the fence for a move and you're saying, I'm going to wait and see. Well, if waiting and seeing involves you buying a house, maybe you're just selling and that's fine. Wait and see is probably not a bad position to be in, at least until we get to the summertime, because I think that if mortgage interest rates come down a little bit, we have a market that's already improving in a high mortgage interest rate or higher than recent history mortgage interest rate market if rates get down into, I don't know, the 5.5% range, whereas you might be the only buyer making an offer on a listing today and you're negotiating individually and exclusively with the seller, trying to get the best deal. In 2-3 months' time, if mortgage interest rates do come down a bit, there might be a couple of friends on your right and on your left that are competing buyers also making an offer on the same home because we're still in a somewhat limited inventory environment. And at least part of the reason that I think we will remain in a situation where there's not a ton to choose from for housing is that people who either bought in the last 2 or 3 years or refinanced in the last 2 or 3 years might be sitting on a mortgage interest rate that starts with a 2 or a 3. And if they don't have to make a move for job, for family reasons, for relocation, whatever the case may be, if they don't have to sell, they're probably not going to because of the interest rate that they presently have. So I think that rates come down a little bit. We're still in this shortage of inventory situation. We see slightly more competition in the marketplace in the summer of 2023. That's just my hypothetical. Take it with a grain of salt. If you'd like to talk through what any of this might mean for you and for your move, I am here. Feel free to email or call, text, whatever's most convenient. It's jeff@era.com and 904-405-1995. Take care, and we'll catch up soon.